Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Samurai Goddess. The goddess next door takes on kung fu killers in this action-packed martial arts Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Samurai Goddess in paperback and e-readers today. Yesterday I did a video discussing how actor Samuel L. Jackson was upset about African American actors losing roles to black actors from the UK, black actors from Europe, black actors from Africa, and black actors from Australia. And what Samuel L. Jackson and many in black Hollywood just don't seem to understand is that this is a symptom of a larger problem. And what is the larger problem? The larger problem is African Americans have not focused on improving the quality of black film over the last 20 some odd years. And the reason why I can say that is because I can clearly see the decline in the quality of black film from the second golden age of it in the late 1980s and 1990s. When we look at the films from the late 1980s and early 1990s, there was clearly a high focus on quality screenplays, a high focus on quality cinematography, a high focus on quality acting, a high focus on quality editing, and putting together a solid film that would pretty much last the test of time. However, as we go throughout the years, we clearly see that there is a decline in the quality of the types of films that black filmmakers make. And when we look at black film today, black cinema today, it's a pale shadow of that golden age of the late 1980s and 1990s when filmmakers like Spike Lee, Robert Townsend, and the Hudlin brothers were making quality films like Do the Right Thing, Hollywood Shuffle, and Boomerang. We look at those films and they're cinematic classics for black cinema. But when we look at films today, there's just they pale in comparison. And one of the core reasons why black cinema has declined has to do with the 2000 Oscars, or 2002 Oscars, where Denzel Washington and Halle Berry won the Oscars for Training Day and Monsters Ball. Now, once they won those Oscars, I started to really see a decline in black film from that point forward, because when it came down to black cinema, they saw these two A-list black actors winning Oscars for playing stereotype roles, and then soon it became a constant focus on creating stereotype roles in black film. And one of the two architects of leading to that decline are Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry. Now, Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry pretty much created the dysfunctional platform for the 21st century of black cinema. Lee Daniels pretty much laid the foundation by producing films such as Monsters Ball and Precious, and Tyler Perry laid the foundation for poor quality with his Tyler Perry films, such as Medea Goes to Jail and many others. And when it comes down to both men, neither one focused on the craft of black filmmaking. Daniels pretty much focused on a victimization narrative, whereas Tyler Perry constantly focused on presenting minstrel antics in most of his films. And even worse with Tyler Perry, there was a constant focus on poor quality screenplays, poor quality editing, poor quality cinematography, poor quality acting. It was just poor quality overall. Even worse, there was no focus on developing new talent from either man. Both men pretty much went out and hired established black actors for most of their films, actors who were in their late 30s and early 40s, and pretty much passed over an entire generation of young 20-something actors who should have been put in film roles. Many of those black actors were pretty much ignored by these black filmmakers. Now, if you look at, in contrast, what Spike Lee did and the Hudlin brothers and Robert Townsend did in the late 1980s and early 1990s, they focused constantly on developing young talent. And because they focused constantly on young talent, a lot of people got their first opportunity to play a role in a black film. And because those actors got opportunities, they were able to branch out and build their careers. I mean, guys like Martin Lawrence pretty much, again, got their start in films like House Party, Do the Right Thing, and Boomerang. He wouldn't have been as big if it wasn't for those three black films to pretty much establish him. Many other guys like Wesley Snipes got a real push in films like New Jack City. So it was black films that pretty much pushed a lot of black performers to the A list, and a lot of black people, they who got their opportunities pretty much took them, got them, and then didn't think about this next generation. And because they didn't think about the next generation, we now have, a drought as it relates to black performers. And I talked about this in a previous video when I talked about aging black Hollywood, because again, the real money is not made with 40 something and 50 something actors or 30 something actors. The real money is made with teen actors and 20 something performers. And black Hollywood has not done a good job of supporting young talent, developing young talent, and cultivating young talent. And this is why a lot of these black performers are not getting roles, because they don't have the resume to go out here and get those roles the way a black actor in the UK could have gotten. And because those actors again are more agreeable to white producers, they have a leg up, whereas the black actor, he's going to struggle trying to get that role because his resume isn't strong, his credits aren't that strong, or her credits aren't that strong. And that's all due to Daniels and Perry not making an effort to develop and cultivate young talent, or to develop fresh talent to get these roles in their projects, and their constant focus on either victimization or cooning and buffooning, because that's another, big problem with black Hollywood. They, after Denzel and Halle won those Oscars, they didn't want to focus on creating a diverse array of different types of films. Either we got minstrel shows, or we got slaves, or we got, the same old victimization over and over again. And that really prevents a black actor from showing their talent and their range like a black actor would have been able to do in a romantic comedy like Boomerang, or a comedy like House Party, or a movie historical film like a Panther or a Malcolm X, where an actor gets an opportunity to show their range, or even a fantasy film like a Blade, where they can, really show what they can do. When it comes down to this 16 years of minstrels, slaves, and victims, it really hindered the black film industry from growing and developing black actors' crafts, because you saw the same old actors who were getting older and older. Two, you saw the same old stories over and over, and that really again hindered the growth of the black entertainment industry. And because these guys focused on this, we weren't able to develop again that next generation of fresh talent. And there are lots of great talents out there, that pretty have been lost in the shuffle. I think about Evan Ross, Diana Ross's son, an amazing performer who did an amazing job in films like Muslim and Pride. And what happened to him? I mean, this was a guy who, if I was making a John Haynes movie, I would be seriously considering this guy, for that role, because he's that good. He has that potential. I saw him, again in Muslim, Pride, and I think it was Great Debaters. I don't know if it was, but he's a great performer. But he's been lost in the shuffle, and we haven't really heard much from him in the last couple of years. And he had some amazing range, in those few roles that he had, but was just completely lost. And I think about many other performers out there that have been lost. That, like Zendaya, pretty much she's going to be in the Spider-Man movie, but black filmmakers should have been trying to give her an opportunity as well to show her range. And there are many other black actors. Shamik Spake from Dope, great actor, did an amazing job in Dope. Nobody has come to go call this guy up to offer these three great young actors, roles. And it's really sad to see this. We have all these black people in Hollywood, and they're not thinking about the big picture. And they're only thinking about themselves, like Samuel L. Jackson was. Oh, the American actors aren't getting roles. But again, they're not thinking about the big picture of the industry as it relates to black film and the quality of black film, because there's been a serious decline in quality again since Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry became the frontmen for black entertainment. And again, their constant focus on those few types of films has really prevented black entertainment from really preventing quality films from getting to the marketplace, because all we're getting again, black victims, black slaves, black minstrels, and you really can't show much of a range in those type of films. And then we have the black audience, which really doesn't go out to support films, like Great Debaters and Pride and Dope, the films that really made, black cinema great, like the golden age of the 80s and the 90s, where we had black people going out to see movies like House Party. We had people going out to see movies like Juice. We had black people going out to see black movies like New Jack City. We had black people that going out to see, black movies like Posse and all these other great films. And because we had all that diversity, black actors had an opportunity again to show that great range, show their skills as actors, and show they could play roles that were out of the box. And once you have a resume of credits where you can show, you can play numerous types of roles, guess what? Those producers are going to start looking at you and taking you seriously. But the reason why they can't do that is because those black actors can't get those opportunities because guys who are producing films like Lee Daniels, like Tyler Perry, like Shonda Rhimes, like Oprah Winfrey, only want to produce a handful of films and a handful of types of stories, and those black actors really can't show their range. And the black audience only goes out to support those type of films because they saw Denzel Washington and Halle Berry win those Oscars for Monsters Ball and Training Day, and then the Tyler Perry people, they don't want to come out of their box, and that's really stagnating black cinema overall. That's why we're not seeing that diversity like we should. I mean, I remember again in my day, the films like Dope were the rule. Now they are the exception. Now we look at the black Hollywood these days, and most of the films, again, there's not really much creativity, and we're not seeing a lot of actors getting the opportunity to get range because the black people of the who came up in the 80s and the 90s, they really didn't think about the future of black entertainment, and they didn't think about the future of black cinema and a focus on trying to keep maintain a level of quality. Because if we focused on maintaining a level of quality, then our actors would have a place to pretty much again show their talent, show their range, and show their skills. Because the only place where black actors can get opportunities to play those, different types of roles is with black filmmakers. They're not going to get it in most cases with mainstream white films. They're only going to get a certain type of role. But when it comes down to black cinema, that's when you can really start to show your range, show your depth, and really get those opportunities. But those UK actors and those foreign black actors, they're getting those opportunities because we didn't make an effort to create new black actors to replace the aging group of black actors we have right now. And we didn't want to go out here and create quality films because a lot of people like Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry were more focused on making money than they were the craft of filmmaking. And because they weren't focused on the craft of filmmaking and making quality films and showing that diverse range, we now have foreign actors taking roles that would have been gone to a black actor, and that's why a lot of these black actors aren't being able to get work. So Samuel L. Jackson and many of the people who came up in the 90s, really, they needed to take a look at themselves because they didn't go out here and try to help that last generation, get that step up to the next level. If they had helped out some of these young kids, then maybe we would see more black actors from America getting roles over foreign actors. But because that last generation really didn't do its job in trying to maintain a standard for black cinema, supporting black performers, and trying to produce quality films, we now have foreign actors taking black roles from black American actors. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.